Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug, and Justin is not here because he's down in the sewers trying to find the Ninja Turtles. It's his long quest, like his King Arthur quest, and he hopes to find them someday. God bless you, don't run into clowns. But joining me in his stead is the one, the only, Mr. Noah Reno. Welcome, sir.
Hey, that's me. What's up?
That's you. Welcome back, my friend. It's so good to have you back in.
It's so good.
How have you been?
Here. It's been good. It's been too long.
It has been too long. Obviously, you've contributed via.
Oh
yeah, you contributed via the Discord, giving your thoughts and ideas on the different stuff that we've talked about. So thank you for contributing to that.
Absolutely.
But before we kick things off, you obviously have your own YouTube. You got your own YouTube. Could I sound older? You have your own YouTube channel and doing other things. Tell everyone about like what you got going on, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
So I'm Gunchpot on every platform except for Twitter. And I make Dragon Ball content. I make gaming content. I'm all up in the gaming verse. And I'm just always trying to push the envelope, create new things, be creative, have that outlet. But most of it involves Dragon Ball Z, which is awesome. And that's it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it a lot since I've been doing that regularly.
Nice. That's so cool. And I'm sorry. Right now, someone is trying to use my Apple TV downstairs. I think it's Natalie, and it just keeps popping up on my phone. It's like beep, trying to use it. I'm like, if I had my phone, I'd type in fart or quit it. Quit it. Stop doing it. Please stop doing that.
It will never stop.
Yeah, it'll never stop. I don't know what she's trying to look for, but she can't find it. So
trying to watch the new season of Severance, probably.
Probably that, or she's like cat fart videos because she is my daughter. All right. Well, Gunch, so glad that you're here. So let's get this show started off right with our icebreaker. I want to ask you two questions. Okay. First question. Who is one of your favorite heroes?
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Teleportation has always been one of the faves. And he's one of the few mutants that's like part of the team that actually has like a physical mutation that affects how he looks. And I always thought that was something they didn't play into enough in like a cool way. Because yeah, he looks like a devil man, and there's like some like racism undertones with a lot of his storytelling and like that kind of stuff. But like people, I mean, that's just like a part of being a mutant or whatever. It's not because their skin color is different. It's because they're freaks. But for him, it's both. And that's always been really interesting. And also teleportation is just awesome.
That's so cool. All right. Second question. Who's one of your favorite villains?
Oh, that's tough. That is even more tough because you tend to like a villain, like a good villain, like maybe more than you would like a pro tag. Google's villains.
I mean, you got your classics, you got your Darth Vaders, you got your Magnetos.
Yeah.
You got because a good villain has to be in some way. You kind of gotta agree with him a little bit. You may not agree
with them a little bit.
You at least understand where they're coming from. You know, like, hey, I don't like the execution here, but I kind of get it. You know.
Yeah, Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
Who is Heinz Doofenshmirtz?
from Phineas and Ferb.
Oh yeah, show that I'm too old. I'm too old, unfortunately.
Gosh, that is a very. What do I even like? What are they even like?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm thinking like I like a lot of the like Disney Channel and like Cartoon Network cartoons, like your Owl Houses and your Adventure Times. I always thought that the Lich from Adventure Time was always like a super captivating villain that just like kind of keeps coming back, but not in a way where you get tired of it, but in a way that it's like this is just a force of nature that is ever present, kind of way. What is another one of those like classic, like Gravity Falls has like Bill Cipher. Is he's just like kind of an iconic. He's just a triangle, right? But like, why is he so scary? Why is just like the triangle such a scary character?
You got
Not to bring it back to
Vecna,
Dragon Ball either,
Vecna
but, like,
from Stranger Things. That guy's
true, It's
tortured
not,
soul.
not to just bring it back to Dragon Ball, but like like the entire Dragon Ball pantheon of villains are timeless. Like every single one of them is like iconic design, just like the silhouette, you know what character it is, and pretty much
Mhm.
all of them are a lot of them are very well written and just stand the test of time. Period. Uh,
If you had to pick one villain,
if
you're
I had to
like,
pick one, um, I'd probably say Piccolo from the OG Dragon Ball, like Demon King
okay,
Piccolo through the Piccolo Jr. kind of
mhm,
arc. Just that entire thing was kind of one long thing. And even though it's technically two guys, it's like a reincarnation or like a passing of the torch to the other one. So it kind of feels
mhm.
like one cohesive unit. But just so well done, the action and just like all of like the execution on that idea was just so well done. And I don't know if Dragon Ball has recaptured that since then.
Nice. All right, now here's the ultimate question: in a fight between Nightcrawler and Piccolo, who would win?
Piccolo. Um, any Dragon Ball character solos most of fiction.
Sure. I figured I knew the answer to that already, but I was like, I gotta ask. Who's winning between
And
your
the whole thing now, or like a lot of stuff in anime right now, is like people creating characters with the intention of like putting them up against Dragon Ball characters for like power scalers to have that fantasy of like,
That's
can
wild.
this character that we just created that can snap multiverses out of thin air is like, could he be Goku? Or like
Mhm.
whatever. Like that is just, and no, that's my thought. Like
When
no,
you
you can't
wander
be
into the
Goku.
world of anime, the power levels
It gets
spike in
insane. It
very
just gets
strong
insane.
directions. So it's pretty wild to say. So I've been noodling on this all day, trying to find like I have plenty. I'm same way. I have plenty of heroes. You got Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I like him a lot. Guy who's overcoming his doubt. Trying to live up to who he's supposed to be and everything like that. You got Captain America. He's one of my go-to guys. Lawful
Yep.
good dude. Just always
Classic.
tries to do the right thing, cares about people, everything like that.
Soups. That's soups.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
soups.
This is fair.
Although I gotta say, I am looking forward to that movie. I really
Kind
am.
of into.
I never
kind of
thought
into.
I thought I was over it, but I'm like, I don't know. Something about it looks pretty fun. So,
I mean, I was like 11 when Man of Steel came out, and I didn't care for
mhm,
that movie then.
I
So
did.
I don't think
I still
Superman's
kind of
been
do.
good in a minute.
I was never really a huge fan of the Christopher Reeves ones, which everyone would be like,
Yeah.
oh, heresy. I'm like, they didn't really do much for me. I appreciated the effort with Man of Steel. I don't know if it was executed super well, but I appreciated the effort behind it. And Superman who was just like hated, for him trying to do what was right. But people were like, this is a fucking alien, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want this guy around, the
It
stuff.
seems
And
like we're kind of doing that again, but like
yeah,
in a different
in a
capacity.
different way. Yeah. So
More of
with the
more of
James.
like a social way and
Yeah.
less of a straight up, yeah, this guy is an alien who destroys buildings and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I appreciated where they were trying to
It's
do.
gray and it's edgy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's pretty dark. So, so you got that. You got, Midoriya from My Hero Academia. I like him.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me. Lay it out
I
there.
don't care for the character. I don't care
That's
for the
fine.
character. I watched most of My Hero. I didn't end up finishing it because I was told the ending is bad. So
Oh, really?
I like My Hero. It just I actually watched the first couple of episodes and I was straight up like, I hate this main character.
Oh, of course.
I do not like this character
Yeah.
in the slightest. I think everything about him is bad. And they kind of try to do the Captain America thing with him where he's like, he's just a good kid, but he's not like special at all.
Mhm.
And I just don't think they did it as good as Captain America. And I never
That's fair.
really grew out of my disdain for that character. He became tolerable eventually, but like it just never got to a point where I was like, yes, I like him. I was always like, yeah, I'm more in for like the school itself.
Mhm.
And like Bakugo is a great character and
Mhm.
Todoroki is a great character. And I'm more
Mhm.
interested in their stories than
Yeah.
our actual protagonist.
I will say he is insufferable
But
in
you
the
guys talked
beginning.
about side characters last episode.
I know,
but,
but still, but he grew on me a lot. as he gets better and he works hard and, comes through to the end and he, puts a lot on his shoulders to try and do stuff. So anyway, all that to say is like, it's tough to pick one because I'm also like, who's one of my favorite villains? Magneto hops up there for me, because I get why he's doing what he's doing, man. That guy lived through the Holocaust and he's like, fuck you guys. I don't trust any of you. I trust people that are like me because you all are trying to kill me. And I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Don't agree with it, but I get it. I totally get it. I empathize with him. And honestly, most of my heroes don't think they could beat Magneto. Like what's Cap going to do against Magneto? He's just going to take that shield, crush it, and then shove it into his. Yeah.
Magnetic.
Fair question, actually. I don't know.
It must be. It simply must be because Iron Man built Tony Stark built the back sling thing.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So no.
So there's that. It's like, what's Aragorn going to do against Magneto? Nothing. He's going to get crushed.
Just a guy.
He's just a guy with extra long life who gets killed by his own armor. Like most people wouldn't be able to stand up to him, in a lot of ways. So maybe Midoriya with all of his abilities, but who knows? So at the end of the day, you have iron in your blood, so you lose.
True. That is true.
All right. Well, that was a great icebreaker. Thank you for humoring me.
For breaking the ice with me.
Oh, it's been broken. It's been shattered. Before we hop into the topic, just a quick reminder, everyone, check us out at youtube.com/mindgappodcast. You'll find links in the description to our Discord, to our Patreon, to our merch at Redbubble, which Noah is wearing. Did you know that Squirt is pee? And did you know that I don't care spoken by the man himself?
Truer
which I
words
think
has never been spoken.
It's true. And it's you can get them now over at Redbubble. Just head on over there and you can pick one up in any type of attire you prefer. And just to remind everyone,
did you know that Squirt is pee? And did you also know that I don't care?
That's where it came from. This man right here. Came from it. So it's summer, and if that isn't a summer shirt, I don't know what is. So you can pick it up now.
It's the most summer shirt I could think of.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we've got a really fun topic tonight. I'm very excited. We're talking about ranking the best magic systems in fantasy. Who does it right? So got lots of different stuff, a lot of different systems out there. I think the big thing to start this off is to kind of talk about what are magic systems and what makes them work and kind of what makes them work well, which we can kind of get into as we dive into some of the different examples of that. Yeah. But from your experience, Noah, when it comes to like magic systems, you got the hard systems, you got the soft systems, rule-based, you've got mystical. What in your mind counts as a magic system? Because you had a really good idea before we started recording, which I'm like, I would allow it. So
I think that power that is non-existent in our universe in any capacity, any fictional power that is not specifically like science fiction trying to extrapolate on things that we do have, like hard science fiction. I think you could argue some things lean magic, but I think that pretty much anything that is just an unexplained or made up source of power that can be as widespread as the entire universe has it, or like one person has it, is a magic system.
I agree. I think that makes sense. So what makes a good system work? I know one of the kind of like the most like relevant modern day rules person on magic comes from Brandon Sanderson. And one of his most famous thing are his laws of magic. He has 3 laws. The first is an author's ability to solve conflict with magic is directly proportional to how well the reader understands said magic. So instead of just being like, oh no, he can just do this thing and he gets out of it. And people are like, I don't understand how this works. How is he able to do that? If you have to ask questions, then that's probably not a good system. That's probably something that's not working well. If you're like, oh, it's my get out of jail free card. Ba, ba, bam. People are like, I didn't see that coming. How is that possible? Second law. It's very simple. It goes like this. Limitations are greater than powers. So the idea that Giving people the limits on how and when they can use the power is greater than the powers themselves, because if people can use them all the time without limitations, then it doesn't become special. It's pretty boring. If everyone's special, nobody is. So you got to find the limitations for those sorts of things. And the third law, expand what you already have before you add something new, which I think is really good. The idea of like, you have what you have. How can you push that and like make that better before you're like, let's add something else into it? Because then before you know it, you've got this periodic table of magical elements and you're like trying to figure out all that stuff. Because the other thing too is like, you can easily, there were some examples on this that I looked up that I'm like, I'm not covering this because I don't understand what the fuck this is. I understand how it works. I need some sort of, cork board and yarn to figure all this out. And it's so fucking confusing. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. To some people, I'm sure if I read the book or whatever, I'd be like, it makes sense. But I'm like, man, just explain the system of magic. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. So it's important to kind of like have it make sense and everything like that. So, clear rules, I think, are really important, right? You got to understand what makes it work, how it functions, which, God, I'm so tempted just to hop into stuff, but I'll put a pin in that. Your creative applications, like how do you apply these things, the costs, the limits, which we talked about, world building integration, how's it built into the world, and its impact on the story and character arcs. And I think that is also really important, kind of going back to, the first law, which is like, how do these things allow people to get out of trouble, and does it make sense, or is it cheap? Because we all grew up with stuff where it's like, well, this is the hero, they're going to find some way to do whatever. I mean, that happens a lot in, anime, where they just summon the willpower to be like, they're like, I believe in myself, and listen, I'm a sucker for it every time. I'm like,
to go even further,
I love to
beyond.
Yes, over 9,000. Like you just have to summon the willpower, because there's something about that which is pretty cool. You're like, someone has just sheer will, they're going to overcome this. I'm like, that's pretty cool, but it can't be something for everything. Like, because I'm the good guy, activate plot armor, rah! Like that's their magical ability, which isn't cool. So we're kind of going to be taking a look at a couple of examples of these things and kind of talking about, what the system of magic is, where it came from, how it works, why it's compelling, or maybe why it's not. I don't know. We're going to talk about both. But the first one we're going to start with here is the Mistborn system of magic. It comes from Brandon Sanderson. I guess it's several books at this point, I think, right? There's the original trilogy.
It is a series.
Yes, a series. So the magic system in this is called Allomancy. It basically allows characters to ingest and burn various metals in order to magnify their abilities. So one of the first limitations in this is that Allomancy is passed down genetically. So only certain characters within this world have those powers.
Which I think is the lamest part of Allomancy. I think if I'm just gonna have a stance, Allomancy is objectively cool, but the fact that it is genetic is lame.
Okay.
I think it's cool to have only certain I think it's cool to only have certain people be allowed to use it, but the fact that it is genetic is like, it just limits it to such a pool that you kind of get a Skywalker thing with it, that you can only have so many people that have it. And then those people are de facto tied to your story and to this world as essential. So there is no, just somebody learned it one day, or somebody got, fell into a radioactive vat of steel, and now they have it. It's just, okay. Some people have it and some people don't. And that's valid. I think the genetics angle is a little weak.
I like the idea of like, you can study it, but you're probably going to have limited abilities. And if you want to expand and be like, hey, there is something genetically with folks that allow them to, unlock additional, I don't know. I'm with you here, man. I'm not here. I'm not here for eugenics. I want equal opportunity. I want meritocracy and that sort of stuff. Sort of thing. So I agree. I haven't read this series, but I'm like, I hear that. I'm like, yeah, genetically it kind of sucks. Yeah. But it is what it is. So people basically will ingest metals. There's all different types of them. You can do different things like there's physical metals, there's mental metals. Like for example, if you ingest steel, it gives you the ability to push metal objects away from you. So the characters will shower their enemies with coins, and they can, move any metal item that weighs less than them in the opposite direction.
Mhm.
So I think
A really cool like facet of the system, and the reason why I got into it to begin with was it just was described to me as like the only magic system that actually like uses physics, and
Mhm.
they use steel, like they keep coins in their pockets, and they're like, okay, I have this coin, I'm going to put this coin on the ground, or like whatever, I'm going to burn my steel, and I'm going to push the coin on the ground, and that is going to because I am applying a force to it. The opposite reaction is going to actually push me into the air to give me like a
Mhm.
boosted jump or whatever. Like it is such a cool system. And
Yeah.
there's so many different facets to it with the different metals and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's very
Yeah.
cool.
There's
It's a
like
very
things where
cool
you
system.
can,
I recommend it.
it's on my list. You can do things like rouse other people's emotions. You can calm people. You can sense, anyone is near them is using Allomancy. You can hide themselves, and there's like enhanced things like burning out the metal that someone already has, like in their system. All sorts of shit. And then there's, you could see into the future, see in the past, all sorts of things. So what I like about this is he's got there's 16 metals and then 3 god metals. And like, that's what people have in their arsenal. And I love the idea of being like, now answer this for me. Are people just naturally good at them, or can you, if you're like an Allomancer, can you just use all these to anything that you want, or do people kind of have like a
So
preference?
there are specific Allomancers that can burn specific metals. So not every
Okay.
Allomancer can burn every metal,
Okay. So it makes it even
which is
more
just another
specific.
level of it.
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense. So I think this is pretty cool. I think it's a interesting, well thought out
I'm
way.
eating rocks already, so if I can eat rocks and get cool shit from it, then that's awesome.
That's the other thing too, is like, how much are we talking here? Do you like, the more you eat, like, does that increase what you have? Like, do you have to be like,
It's
and what
kinda
is
just
this?
like
Are
a
they like,
stockpile. They're like,
so they
I
just like
think
grab
they're
a
just
bar
like
of
it's just
metal and what do they do?
metal.
Like just chew on it or what? Like what,
It's
how
more
do,
like flakes, or I guess I kind of always picture it
okay.
as more just like as shavings or just
Okay.
little bits, and then yeah, you just kind of you have
Just pop
you
it in
have
your
your
mouth.
repository for it, um, where you keep it stockpiled
All right.
inside. It's
So you
like a
just like
different,
a couple
which
flicks.
I guess kind of leans into the genetics of it because these
Right.
people have like the storage capacity for it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. You're like, I want to be an Allomancer, and you just eat a bunch of like rust and then you die. You're like, yeah, you couldn't do it. And not that,
I
what person
I
figured
eat a
this
bunch
out in
of
this world?
Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah, this person's like, I'm gonna lick this pole, and they're like, I can do things. They're like, wait, what? Very interesting. So very cool school or system of magic. Next up, one of my personal favorites, Avatar: Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah.
Just being able to bend. I've talked about this numerous times with Justin, who's never seen the fucking show, even though I've told him to watch it. Easily one of my favorite. And that's totally a system of magic.
Yeah. Oh,
where
yeah.
you're bending the elements to your will. What I love about it too is it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Some people
Martial
just
art.
it's a martial art. Some people also are kind of born with it, right? It's not necessarily like
It's not genetic like Allomancy, but it is some
right.
people have it and some people don't.
Exactly. And people can either be average, you can work on it and get better.
Yeah.
But you are also locked into that particular element that you are able to bend.
Right.
And you can't, go too far out of that at all, except for the
Can't
Avatar.
leave your schools or do like different.
Right.
And I mean, the Iroh was like a big hit. Like a lot of his was like, I learned from the waterbenders to
Right.
do my
Lightning.
various, like that's how I redirect lightning, was using
Mhm.
waterbender techniques to enhance my firebending and stuff like that is cool. Being able to apply different things to your own, like, or different schools of knowledge or different techniques to your own to enhance that power is like a really cool idea that isn't even really explored that much.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's a lot more interesting to me just as like a thing that exists in the world more so than Allomancy, because it is kind of like a mutation. It's just kind of like
Mhm.
some people are born with it and other people aren't. And the limits on it are very clear. Going back
Yeah.
to Sanderson's laws of
Yeah.
magic.
Exactly. And it requires a lot of physical ability to do because, like you
Yes.
said, it is a martial art. There's a movement involved and there's specific movement as well as focus. So you can't do it forever. You can do pretty powerful things, but then you get tired and you basically like will not be able to do things eventually. So
The Avatar Legends RPG like the actual game system also goes into more detail on the actual like function of bending, more so than the show ever does, which is really, really cool. And a lot of it is like, okay, if you're playing a bender in the game, you can bend. Like that's just something like eventually you discover this power and you can do basic things. If you're a water bender, you can move water around. Like you don't need, I mean, it's similar to how Katara kind of just taught
Mhm.
herself, is like you get the feeling for it. It's in your veins. Like you know what to do, but then you have to do specific things to like you said, enhance those powers, grow, learn new techniques. Like that's what the scrolls are for. That's what
Yeah.
having a master is for. Like all of those things add to the, okay, I have these abilities. They're very limited at the beginning, but I can actively do things to
Yeah.
enhance those abilities.
I also like that just because you can bend, there's just so much variety. And you see that in the show with different people having different personalities and how they approach a fight. Like at earthbending, people are going to do different things, creating walls, creating discs out of those walls. And like same thing with fire, using their kicks and whatever. Like there's just so much variety that people can spend. It makes it very interesting in how they do it. So easily one of my favorite systems of magic out there. It's so good. Plus a great show in general. So good.
Great show.
Next up, we got Harry Potter. It is a magical system. We could probably talk about this more in the next one. Maybe we put a pin in this one because I'm like, I don't know if this is a good one. Honestly, I think it's full of inconsistencies.
It is full of inconsistencies.
So let's talk about the world of Fullmetal Alchemist. Love that show. Also, great show. And the whole, basically, if you're not familiar with the show, it's about this world that exists where people can kind of use magic. It's based in science, so to speak, but essentially they use alchemical sign symbols and things like that. And based on different materials and stuff that they have, they can kind of create or destroy and do different things. And there's different people that specialize in different things. Like there is the Fullmetal Alchemist, who's known for the Eldrick brothers, who, basically one is soul is trapped in a suit of armor and the other is, has arm and a leg that are metal. And they constantly do things to adjust their bodies, adjust the world around them. Usually they do like a lot of earth-based stuff. They'll create platforms or make, I forget, Ed will often take his metal arm and turn it into like a little knife sort of like thing. His fist. You see other things like the Flame Alchemist. He has gloves that are alchemically bounded on his wrist, and then when he snaps his fingers, it creates friction, and he's able to create a spark, and then he can manipulate the fire.
Creates fiction. Whoa.
Fiction. He creates fiction just like that.
Power.
Oh my God, he's just writing shit all the time. He's making movies just with a snap of his fingers. You've got the what is it? The guy, the dude that like creates bombs. Like I forget what his name is. But he's known for just like explosions. There's an ice person. There's all sorts of stuff. And I like this system as well because the whole theme of the show is based around the idea of equivalent exchange. You have to give something to get something in return.
Got it.
And that is a hard and fast law. And when you break that law in that world, it comes with tremendous consequences. In which case, it gives you an ability, but you have to give something up to get that ability. But I really like it because it is a good combination of science meets magic. And it's, I think it's also something where anyone can do it. It seems like if you study it enough, you can figure something out. Obviously, you kind of have to be pretty smart to understand the science of like what it takes to do certain things. But a lot of that shit's just in books, and people can go and read the books and do some alchemy. So
straight wizard.
Yeah, straight wizard. But in that universe, the alchemist stone, or is the philosopher's stone, I think is what it's called. So they're chasing because supposedly with that stone you can create something from nothing, but it's a cursed object. Have you ever seen this show?
No.
Oh, I was like, you're making things like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever,
for sure.
And I was like, oh shit, you haven't seen this? Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good. For the record, Fullmetal Alchemist: Brotherhood is the one you want to watch. Right. Fullmetal Alchemist was made before the manga was done, and then they just took their own creative liberties, and it was like
older dub.
Not as good. But the thing was, they took the same voice actors and brought them back for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Cool. So the exact same people, and they did it the right way, and it was fantastic. But it's a really cool system. I really, really, really enjoy it, and it's definitely worth checking out. So very fun system of magic where people get creative in how they use it too, which is really interesting. I'm also going to then finally move on to the Wheel of Time. Are you familiar with the system at all?
I'm not. I read a little bit here on the notes, but I was not, I've never seen this or heard of this.
I watched the first season. It was fine. I wasn't compelled to watch the additional ones. But this one's interesting because it deals a lot with gender and who can wield what they call is, it's the weave. The weave through their one power is what it's called. It's kind of like the Force.
Okay.
They can draw on this ability to do different things. There's different there's different schools of magic that people can use. But in the lore, there was someone known as the Dark One, who was a dude who, by him using the one power, the source, he corrupted it for all dudes moving forward. So any man who uses this is hunted down by a specific group of ladies, basically because any man who uses that they're guaranteed to go insane and become destructive, and they get a disease that basically they decay while living. So they become extremely powerful, and it's no good. So it's interesting because in this, like, men who use this are more powerful than women, but they have limitations at the same time. Like there's certain spells and things that can like if they want to combine their abilities, there has to be like a woman in their group to be able to do that. And while men are considered more or stronger with their sort of stuff, women are more dexterous and are able to basically match them in any way, shape, or form. So it's a very interesting way on kind of an interesting take on what they can do and how they can do it. And
gender-based magic system.
Yeah. And it's pretty impressive. They do mostly the, wind, fire, water, whatever, all that sort of stuff. And then spirit. And what's interesting too, is the more time you spend doing this, like it can prolong your life. Like some people can live like up to 800 years. But depending on how intense you are with it, it can halve your life as well. Like depending on what it does, the pull on it's very interesting. So it does have some limitations to what's possible and what can be done. And it's also, if someone's getting out of line, they can take the power away from you. And for dudes, they usually try to kill them to some degree, or they just basically rip it out of them. And for same thing with they say that if you get this taken away from you, a lot of times you end up dying or killing yourself because once you have access to this source and then you don't anymore, you feel like it's not worth living, which is very interesting. So interesting school of magic for that regard. So there are many others. And let us know what school of magic or what magic system do you like in your world of things, and tell us what you like about it and why it makes it so unique and fun. But let's talk about some overrated systems, or maybe underrated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we got to talk about Harry Potter.
I think we got to talk about Harry Potter a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. What are your thoughts on the Harry Potter?
The Harry Potter magic system has always been weird. I'm a newer participator in the world of Harry Potter. I have only read the books and watched the movies for the first time in the last like 6 years.
Okay.
So I don't have the nostalgia of it all. I've just engaged and I have my thoughts, but like the inconsistencies are pretty glaring. And I mean, going back to Sanderson's rules of magic, it's just like there are just a lot of things. It's just like broad. It's so broad and so generic and so just like nothing. It's just like, yeah, there's magic. And to use magic, you use wands, but sometimes you don't. And to use magic, you have to say something, but sometimes you don't. And to use
Yeah.
magic, like to make potions, you have to use this stuff. As you get your blood wart and your toad's mouth and your cauldron's witch, and you go in and you put all this stuff together and you have a potion. But sometimes you can do it without that stuff. Or like, and
Mhm.
it's just like J.K. Rowling fucking chat GPT'd what is like what makes magic happen. And it just spit out, you use a wand and you say the magic word and you have like the thing. And then everything is just weird for some reason. And yeah, I mean, like we established, there's not really an explanation for anything. Everything just is. And I can
Mhm.
buy that to some extent, but it's like, why? Why are some things this way in this world? Why does the 9.5 platform exist? Why is because Hogwarts exists in the real world. It's just in a
Mhm.
place that people can't get to or people don't know about or like whatever. So why do you have to go into a place that is real to get there, or that's like made up to get there? Why can't you just get there? Or just it's just that's
It's
the thing that
quirky.
comes up. It just comes up
Yeah.
a lot because it's core. And that's exactly it. It just is
Mhm.
because it is because oh, it's a good idea. This is a great idea. What if they have to go through a wall and they get on a magic train and that takes them there? Or it's not even a magic train. It's just a regular train, but it's
It is a
behind
regular
an
train.
invisible wall.
Which, let's face it,
But
how often do people are leaning against that wall and they just fall through? You know what I mean?
that's at me 100%.
Yeah.
I'm leaning up against every wall I see just for
Right.
sport.
Yeah, just because it's what I do. It's my hobby. No, I agree. Because they make it very clear that up until I think it's the, I don't know, 6th book maybe, that you have to do a certain move with your wand and say a Latin word or Latin words, and then the magic happens. But then they're like, well, then you can just say it in your head. Like, you get good enough, you can just say it in your head, and then it happens. I'm like, oh,
If it was,
that's
and if that's
interesting.
the thing, if it was like a power thing, because I get having to say something and having to like do emotion, because sometimes doing emotion is repetitive. There's only so many things you can do flicking your wrist, but there's
Right.
also like I get having words to say. I don't think that thinking it works the way that like people buy into it,
Yeah.
because that's not anything. But like the wand I know chose you or whatever, but like your psychic and your mana are not linked in my like I've never thought of it like that. And it's also if I could maybe buy if you're just so powerful and you are just willing it forward, but even like Voldemort
Mhm.
is incanting, like he's speaking when he's casting spells. So it's not just a
Not
power
all the
thing.
time. Not all the
Not
time.
all the time. But
Only when
like
he does Havada Kedavra,
well, yeah,
he
which
says
that
it
like
then
why is that and why is that different? Why can't
because
he
that's a death curse.
I would think if it's a death curse, you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't say it. You wouldn't need to. It'd be sneaky. Because if I'm going up to somebody and I'm screaming at them, "Hey, I'm using the death curse on you," that's way less effective than just being able to do it without saying
Like,
anything.
pow,
Because I'm
Yeah,
trying to keep.
no.
I want him dead. I don't want to give him a chance to react or
Right.
to whatever Harry did to do their beam struggle. Like
No. Yeah. Yeah. No.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
no,
give
there's
them
a
an
lot of
opportunity
things.
to do that.
No, that's so true. But look, especially in the duel between Dumbledore and Voldemort, like they're not chanting or
Yeah,
they're just doing
sick fight.
stuff.
Excellent
Awesome.
fight.
Amazing fight. It's one of my favorite scenes
Doesn't
in the
make a
movies.
single lick of damn sense with the world that we have
No.
we have come to know.
Absolutely not. You know what it is? It's almost like the game Magica, right? Where you just have access to a bunch of shit. You're just like, like, and that's kind of fun, right? That's fun just to know that this world of magic exists. There just aren't a lot of clear cut rules. And there's a lot of like, hey, here's this necklace. You can just go back in time, if you want. And then like, we won't use it again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
It's also
and
just
it's
like adding everything. Like,
Mhm.
yes, I get we have wizards, we have witches, we have magic, we have potions. That all tracks. Why
Yeah.
the fuck are there werewolves? Why are there giant spiders? Like, I get having magical creatures
Centaurs?
in a magical world, but
Right.
like it
Dragons.
just feels so pointless to have those creatures there just to like flesh out the world. Like she didn't create those those creatures. Those are just creatures from various mythologies, various mythos, like various folklore that are just in this world. Just everything.
Also,
every single folk legend or story is just real in Harry Potter. Every single one is just the reality that they live in. Which I get to some extent too, that like, oh, there's a little bit of truth to every story, but also like that is dumb.
And you know, this was brought up by Brennan Lee Mulligan, but you know, in a world where you can teleport and cast spells and all this good stuff, but you use owls to send letters, like that's insane. That's just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. Where you're like, oh, we can teleport, but here's an owl, and I wrote you a letter.
Yeah.
That will also talk to you.
I get having like an animal companion too. I think that like having an animal companion is an interesting idea, but it's dumb when those animal companions don't do anything, and it just feels so like Disney princess of like, yes, the school forces you, even if you're Ron Weasley, you get the hand-me-down rat as your fucking fucking animal companion. You have to have one. I'm like, okay, I'll go to the fucking shelter and I'll pick up a puppy and that'll be my animal companion. It means nothing. The only connection I have to it is the fact that that's the one that I chose.
It felt like this was written like one book at a time, and then it's like, instead of building on what we have, we created new things.
We're just gonna keep going.
And we just keep going and going and going. It's like, oh, by the way, this is possible now. And you're like, okay, well, that makes things a little odd, I suppose. I'd almost just prefer that the Wizarding world just exists in its own, like, it's just,
that's what I'm saying.
There's no tangential connection to the real world, you know?
If it was just a different dimension, I could buy everything easier. Okay, it's a different dimension. The rules are different. Everything works different. These
100%.
creatures exist. They come from a different dimension. Totally checks out. The fact that it is just like a fucking place in like some desolate area of London or the UK or wherever it is. I don't know where it is.
Practical Doug just like, goes like, you're telling me, is Hogwarts invisible to everywhere? Can a satellite see it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm sure people are like, oh, they cast a shield spell, so they can't see it. It's, you know, just like how.
But they don't ever say that. Wakanda, there's like, I can buy because they have a shield that goes over it and cloaks the entire city.
Right.
Hogwarts.
They're like, there's protective spells. There's protective spells all over it. I'm like, okay,
I
but like,
buy into the suspension of disbelief of it. It is, but you also ask those questions because those questions are never addressed or it's never brought up. Like,
we're gonna have the Quidditch World Cup
into it, but
and somehow we're gonna mask this. I'm just like, all right, whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
also,
Practical
having
Doug
an entire sports league that's just between your own school is insane.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, we're just competing against ourselves. There's no real reason that this exists. Quidditch is stupid too. The entirety of Quidditch is just dumb, in my opinion. I'm not a fan.
What about the real life version? How about that?
I've had to talk people out of doing it. People are like, oh, there's a Quidditch league at my school. I'm like, just don't, you shouldn't do that. It's very silly. It's very silly. And it's okay to be silly and to do silly things. And it's not my place to stop anybody from having fun. But I think it is my responsibility. It is my responsibility as a friend to like try to give that advice of like running around with a stick in between your legs is not cool.
Yeah, agreed.
And a lot of the things that I do aren't cool, and I've been advised against doing some of the things that I do on a regular basis, and I ignore them. And that's the power, that's the right that you have as an individual. You cannot listen to the things that I say or care about the things that I have opinions on.
There are a couple other ones I'd love to get to, but I think we're gonna have to move on. But like Game of Thrones, their magic stuff, and Lord of the Rings, always kind of like, I remember watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy and just going to my brother who read the books. I'm like, hey man, where's the magic? Like, I just don't. I mean, Gandalf's like, here's the light to scare away the Nazgul. Go away. But I'm like, where's the magic? I don't see it. And then you watch like The Hobbit and stuff like that, and you know, Gandalf's teleporting into the Cave of Goblins, and I'm like, okay, well, this would have been cool to see. You know,
it is. It's very Star Warsy in that way. We're like in the Republic and the Jedi are at their peak or whatever. There's like people are using the Force like crazy. We got crazy lightsaber moves. We got awesome stuff. Which also like the Force is kind of a bullshit magic system, but like you know there's some interesting ideas there. But when we get out of that, when the Jedi are slaughtered, that the faith or like the religion or the order or whatever is crumbling, there's less of that. Less people are using those abilities. Yes, we know that like the Force exists and people can tap into it, but like, they're definitely not doing the same stuff that they were doing 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I've always felt about Lord of the Rings. Is just like, yeah, when the tower goes up, when Eye of Sauron goes up, magic kind of dies a little bit.
I don't agree with that, but we don't have time.
That's
So
fine.
anyway, let us know. Let us know what you think about what are some of the weaker systems. All right, let's turn to, we posted this in the Discord. So again, check out our Discord if you ever want to weigh in on some of the stuff in advance. We post kind of like topics and ideas for people to chat about. We had a big response from Seth, who said, when I asked him, like, what's your favorite magic system and why? He says, I'm partial to the draw system from Final Fantasy VIII. Of course, that's a lie, but I didn't mind it. I do like the materia system from Final Fantasy VII a lot, though. These chunks of pure planet magic essence you put into your badass sword that lets you summon gods of fire or heal your friends. I like the sense of logic in the Forgotten Realms system. In some regards, like wizards need to learn spells from a book. However, it falls apart for me when you have to go on to have to imagine they have to forget some before bed so they can learn more overnight. Very true.
Yeah.
It gets worse when you think about sorcerers, warlocks, or druids for whom the idea of preparation is less sensical. The vastness of spells and the wild ways you can harness magic are somewhat unparalleled, which I agree with. The worst system, probably Harry Potter. Have a wand and speak Latin sometimes because other times you can just do shit.
Yeah.
So I think he's in the same boat as us for that. So
yeah,
which is super
I
cool.
agree with the Forgotten Realms and just games in general. I think that when it comes to a game that you're playing, even if it's video games or tabletop or whatever, it's like having a clear understanding of how it actually works is essential because you are doing the things.
There are
the
literal
one
mechanics
casting
built
spells
into it, and there's rules and everything that are built into it.
Exactly, which just makes it. I mean, you could argue for like preparation of spells and stuff, but just having a system that is so fleshed out because it has to be just makes that system better.
Yeah, very cool. All right, for our last little bit before we get to our game, we're gonna do a build a magic system challenge. So we are going to come up with a new system. We're going to pick a theme. We're going to define our rules, our costs, narrative stakes, and then maybe even name the system and create a hero who uses it. I don't know. We'll see. But you had some thoughts on this. You were ready to go.
Yeah, I'm going to blow your fucking mind.
Blow my fucking mind.
Painting based.
Okay, painting. Let's go.
Strength of the magic is dependent on the quality of the art.
Ooh, I'm in.
And I kind of thought of like alternatives of brush strokes or like bristle types could do different things. Colors could add a variety of like whatever. Even like pencils and pens could result in like various strength or be different types of casting. Like a sketch artist could maybe like command more like shadow and like more vague details versus like a painter wizard who could like manifest things, could have more of a clear vision of a thing. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the most powerful one would be the person who can make AI art. I think at the core of it, who could just generate an AI image to rule them all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, seriously.
That's actually perfect though.
Right.
This is okay. This is the political, or this is the like the social commentary is the villain.
That's the villain. Yes.
An AI artist who is trying to manipulate and use these powers for themselves without going through the proper channels of learning how to use art, and everything that they create is just a fucking monster. It's
an abomination.
It's stealing the essence of like the magic away. Like it's,
oh my God,
the magic gets less powerful.
We've done it
because it's like Santa. It's Santa logic. If you believe in it, if like the art exists, it gives power. But when the art goes away, there is no power in it anymore.
Dude, this is like a Kingdom Hearts game where it's like everything's cool. You're in town and whatever, and then like the inciting incident, it's just like this abomination, like zombie-like creature comes rolling through. Kind of looks like something, but you're not really sure. It just starts wrecking everything, and you kill it. And you're like,
too many fingers.
You're like, it's eating pizza. It can't eat spaghetti. It's crazy. Like when it tries to eat, you know. And it's like this about, and you're like, where did this come from? It's like, these are happening all over the place. And you realize there's someone who there is like, I created it. Ha ha ha. But you stop, but it's not where the root is. The root of it is elsewhere in Silicon Valley.
I like that more than what I had. I did have one note that was, what if pen is like dark sorcery? Because there's no mistakes. You can't make mistakes. So if you were to make a mistake, the magic that you would create is either doesn't work, or it's like more harsh, or it's required more risk, because you could fail at the spell, but maybe the reward is greater.
I like that. I'd say it's you have to be extremely, like, your expertise has to be incredibly high to use this, because there are no mistakes.
But
if you make a mistake,
I was thinking of the flip side with pencil could maybe be considered a weaker magic for beginners, because you can erase your mistakes and try again.
Painting, similar thing.
Spells.
Like, as you do that stuff, I love the idea of all the different colors and things like that, because they can convey different. Those are like your schools of magic, depending on what you do. I think that's really cool, like charcoal or all that sort of stuff.
I haven't really thought too hard about, like, what is the actual magic? Like, what are you actually doing with it? Because I'm like, okay, say manifestation is like the main thing. So I draw an orange, and an orange, like, I can peel it off the page or whatever. But what if I draw that orange green? Like, my intent is that it's an orange, but does the magic understand that I am drawing a green orange, or does it think that it's something else? Does it think it's a tennis ball?
Well, if you utter a Spanish word while you draw it, it will then add that context to it, agua, or whatever. No, I like the idea behind, I feel like there could be a lot of charming effects. If you create something and show it to people, they maybe become entranced by you, or even maybe just having it. Like, maybe you do something, it will boost your charisma or something like that, make you seem more attractive, or people are like, wow, just like that itself will create almost like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like an effect, an AOE effect that sort of permeates, or it could be something as simple as you create it, you hold it up, and you decide, like, you're going to use it, and it's like you could use a fucking fireball shoots out or something like that. You know what I mean?
One thing, I kind of like, this is actually, it wasn't my intention, but in Owl House, Luz, who is just like a human character, learns that there is magic in nature, and that there are these symbols in that when she draws them on a piece of paper and then, like, taps it, that creates the thing. So, like, her first spell is just like a simple light spell. She draws the sigil and then taps it, and it just creates a little ball of light that floats away. And it could be something like that, or like where it's just like, okay, you can create the thing, and then whatever your intention is. I was also thinking of duels. Because, like, you have to have a wizard duel or whatever. But how do you make a cool painting wizard duel? Because you're drawing. But I'm like, okay, you could draw fire and then send the fire out, or you could draw a sword or a gun. but if you have to draw a gun, you draw the gun. You have to draw a magazine. You have to draw bullets. There's logic to it, right? You couldn't just draw a fully loaded gun. So maybe that's not the play. If you're in a duel with somebody, maybe you do take a more creative route.
And I'm thinking of, like, black market stuff, right? You go to the artist that is really good at making sniper rifles. Like, they're like, that is their jam. Or whatever, or someone is able, like, and you pay top dollar for them to create something that you can then just pull out and just, and then you get what you need, and it's good to go. Like, I think that's a really cool system.
That creates a really interesting, like, again, people using their abilities for bad. But you have different levels of it. You have the AI bad. You have the people, like, that are manifesting things and selling them, or because it's just, I love the idea that it's based on your ability as an artist. That if you draw something poorly, it doesn't look good. It doesn't function the way that it's supposed to. It might not. It may be so
bad it won't even work. Exactly, it won't even work.
Yeah.
I really like that system a lot. I think that's really cool. What would you call it?
I think it would have to be like stroke enough.
Oh, it has to be brush stroke enough. Oh, I fucking love it.
She's stroking me off till I brush.
Until I brush, until I paint. I love it. That's so good. I would love to talk more about that, because I just think it's so much fun. It's just
screenplay. Get it going.
get it going. Do you all have one? Let us know. What's your magic system, that you'd love to just see happen? I personally would love to do one with food. I think that'd be really cool. Similar concept. Depending on how well you bake your bread or whatever, it's going to have different effects.
Okay, the question is, how do you bake a gun?
Yeah, how do you bake a gun?
How do I manifest a gun? I can
already weaponize diarrhea through my food, but let's think about guns. All right, that's great. Now, typically at this point, I would get out the old soundboard and I'd be like, hey, it's time to play that game we all know. But Noah is a special guest and Noah has special interests and Noah gets a special game. Noah, this is a game called Fact or That's Fucking Bullshit. All right. I'm going to read you 10 questions. All right. And you simply have to determine, is this a fact or is that fucking bullshit?
I'm going to be
great. And because this is you, 5 questions are about Dragon Ball Z and 5 questions are about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool. Okay.
Are you ready to see if this is fact or fucking bullshit?
I'm so ready to forget all of my knowledge about both of these things that I have I've made my job.
Okay. So here we go. Noah's an expert in both of these topics. So, there's no excuse. Here we go. First one. These first 5 are going to be Dragon Ball Z. All right. So you can let Sonic rest for now. All right. Cool. First one's first. There's an official Dragon Ball Z workout DVD where Goku narrates your push-ups. Is this fact or is this fucking bullshit?
That sounds really cool and exactly like something that would exist in the 90s. I am going to say, oh God, there's just so much merch and like the licensing back then was so like all over the place. I'll say no. I'll say bullshit.
Okay. You are correct. This is fucking bullshit. It's totally fake. But hey, imagine him yelling, do 5 more, maggot, every morning, All right. Very good. Very good. First one in the bag. All right. Second one. Here we go. In an early manga panel, Vegeta, is that how you say his name?
Yes.
Vegeta is shown eating noodles with a fork, despite being Saiyan royalty. Is this a fact or is this fucking bullshit?
So sorry. It's Saiyan. But I think one of the first panels of Vegeta, period, he's eating a leg off a creature with his bare hands. So I'm going to say this is bullshit.
You would, in fact, be incorrect.
Oh.
It is real. There is the Prince of all Saiyans is slurping noodles with a fork like a fucking college student. It's true. As he goes and types it in.
I gotta see it.
I have vetted these, by the way.
Okay, I found the one that I was talking about. Oh, it's not a manga panel, though. What I was thinking about is anime only.
Gotcha.
It's different.
Cool. Fair enough. All right. Here we go. Third one. There's a licensed Dragon Ball Z toothbrush that plays Chala Head Chala while you brush your teeth.
That
is fact or fucking bullshit?
Chala Head Chala. That would be true. It must be true.
100%. And it exists in Japan. You are correct. Very good. You won it. All right. Here we go. Next one. Toriyama originally planned to end Dragon Ball Z after the Cell Saga, but brought it back due to a bet with his editor. Is that true? Is that a fact or is that fucking bullshit?
I mean, so this is not what you asked, but there's a lot of history with Toriyama and the writing of Dragon Ball and how many times it was supposed to end. He just kind of kept going. So I buy this. I absolutely buy this. I think it's true.
It's kind of a trick question. He did want to end it, but there was no bet.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just the grind
fair enough.
of being that guy. So that's kind of a shitty question, but you understand it. So it's technically fucking bullshit, but
Yeah.
All right, last Dragon Ball Z question. In one filler episode, Goku and Piccolo try to get driver's licenses and wear street clothes. Is that fact or is that fucking bullshit?
True.
It's very true. That is true.
Episode.
In this episode,
they learn how to drive.
Goku's ordeal, Goku and Piccolo attempt to get their driver's license after Chi-Chi urges them to. For the driving test, Goku and Piccolo wear street clothes, including a t-shirt and jeans. Piccolo wears his demon clothes while Goku borrows his shirt and pants from someone else.
I think
All
I think
right.
Piccolo's shirt says just says like boy on it or something, or it says like cool guy. No, Vegeta has a pink shirt that says bad man. I think Piccolo's yellow street clothes say like postman or something.
Nice. All right, now let's swap over. Let's change our
Okay.
headspace. Let's
Okay.
think about Sonic the Hedgehog.
I probably will be worse at this one.
I doubt it. All right. Here we go. There's a Sonic character named Boombox the Ferret who attacks enemies with dubstep music. Is that a fact?
Has to be true. Has to be true.
Fucking bullshit.
Has to be true.
Has to be true. Is not true. I know you want it to be true, but it's fucking bullshit.
I want it to be true. I haven't read all the comics. There's so many characters in the comics.
I was like, I want to play that game.
any mammal in any variation of like does goofy 90s like thing is could be a character 100%.
It's true. That's very true. All right, here we go. Next one. Sonic once teamed up with Michael Jackson in a planned Sega game that was quietly canceled. Is that a fact?
That also has to be true.
You're correct. That is true. Michael Jackson helped compose music for Sonic 3, uncredited.
I did know that.
Because eventually he didn't want to do it. So, but that funky vibe is all him in that game. So there you go. All right, here we go. Good job. Sonic's full legal name, according to one Archie comic, is Ogilvy Maurice Wentworth Hedgehog. Is that fact or is that fucking bullshit?
Okay. I'm trying to think back because I believe that this is a comic that I read. But you could be lying, and that is just not the name that was read in that comic. But I'll say it's true.
You are correct. It's true. Ogilvy Maurice Wentworth Hedgehog is Sonic's full name.
I think that's like issue 1 of IDW, maybe? Hard to say. Definitely 90s.
Yeah. All right, well done. Here we go. Our penultimate question here. The Sonic franchise has an official chili dog recipe printed on the manual of Sonic and Knuckles. Is this a fact? Or is this fucking bullshit?
That sounds real. I'm just going to play the psychology game now and think that you wouldn't give me 3 truths in a row. So I'm going to say this one's bullshit.
It is fucking bullshit. But it's a missed opportunity as well.
It is a missed opportunity. That sounds like something they would do.
I know.
I don't think he was into chili dogs then, though. Back at Sonic and Knuckles, I don't think that was like established lore yet.
All right, final question. There was a Sonic anime episode where he turns evil and grows fangs, and it was banned in the U.S. Is that a fact?
Oh.
Or is that fucking bullshit?
I have not heard of this, and it would be crazy if they did the werehog thing twice. The only anime that I can think of is Sonic X, and I don't know if that happened. I'm going to say bullshit.
That is correct. No evil Sonic with fangs.
He did do that. He did turn into a werehog at one point.
Yeah. But that was nothing that was banned or anything like that.
Nothing banned. Nothing illicit.
Noah, great job. How was that? Was that better than guessing movies?
It was for me, yeah.
That's why I did it. Is because you deserved something just for you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing. Let us know how you did. If you're a Dragon Ball Z or Sonic aficionado, how well did you do? Let us know. Noah, before we wrap things up here, is there anything you'd like to recommend for folks? Anything you're watching, anything you're listening to, anything you're doing?
Yes, I would very much like to recommend the series Common Side Effects on HBO. It is an Adult Swim series. And I will preface that the art style is something that takes getting used to, but once you're into it, amazing story, great soundtrack, very interesting idea. Basically, for those of you who need the buy-in, it is about a guy who finds a mushroom that can cure any wound, and the big pharma coming after him, and just like the entire kind of fallout of that. Very, very great show.
Cool. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. For me, The Wonder Years put out the 3rd edition of their was it Burst and Decay, I believe is the name of the album, where they do basically acoustic versions of their songs. And on their 3rd volume, there is a acoustic version of Came Out Swinging, which is one of my favorite songs by them. And it is a chef's kiss masterpiece. The last minute just like makes my heart swell. They do such a good job with the rendition. So I recommend checking that out wherever you listen to your music. So,
oh yeah, baby.
Also features Joe Taylor of Knucklepuck for a verse, which is pretty cool. So bada bing with a pipe. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We appreciate you so much. As always, please be sure to check out not YouTube, Mind Gap on YouTube at youtube.com/Mind Gap Podcast. Please drop a like and a subscribe. It's free and it supports us and we'd appreciate it. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think about your favorite magic system or where we messed something up or what we forgot or anything like that. We greatly appreciate it. And then check the links for Discord, for our Patreon, for our merch. And if you're listening to us, thank you. Be sure to rate, review, and share us around wherever you can. Let people know we exist. We'd be eternally grateful. And be sure to check out Noah. Where?
YouTube, Gunchpot, TikTok, Gunchpot, Twitch, Gunchpot, Blue Sky, bluesky.gunchpot.com. And I also have a Patreon in the works. So,
okay, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Well, with that, I will say, Noah, thank you.
Doug, thank you.
Listeners, viewers, thank you. And you all have a dandy fucking week.